Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Steve, Monday Chief Forecaster with Rowan County Weather with another podcast episode. If you haven't watched yesterday, we talked with the Wilson family, the brother and sister, Tony and Tisha Wilson, who are drag race car drivers from Kannapolis, North Carolina. Very predominant drag racers in the area, but a lot of folks around the area don't know about them. When you think about racing and you think about Kannapolis, you typically think about the Earnhardt family. So this is an opportunity for you to get to know the Wilson family. But I am so delighted today to be joined by Melissa Hunt. And Melissa has the Genuine brand, which is a very amazing brand that my daughter has been involved with now for a little over a year. And we've certainly enjoyed the experience that we've seen that she's had and how much she really loves it. But Melissa, welcome and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. What an honor and a blessing to be here.
Well, it is so nice to have you here. And Melissa, for folks who don't know Melissa Hunt, let's start off with you. So tell us a little bit about Melissa and, family interests, things like that.
All right, great. Well, I am Melissa Lynn Hunt, and the reason for the middle name, why it is so important, is because there's actually quite a few Melissa Hunts in this area. So I decided to distinguish myself by adding my middle name in there. So I like to point that out. So when everyone's like, "Why do you always include your middle name?" And that is why. I am 42 years old. I am married to Jason, who is an incredible man. He is a general contractor and also a part of the Genuine brand. His contracting business is Genuine South Construction, and then he also builds for Lynn Homes. And then I have two sons, Noah and Lucas, who are my everything in my world and my top priority. And I've lived in North Carolina since freshman year of high school, but I am originally from Philadelphia, so I'm a Yankee turned Southerner, and I'm proud to be a Southerner. I'm embracing it with everything I have, and all my Northern family already jokes with me because my accent changed immediately when I came down here.
The only joke I'm going to do with you from Philadelphia is, are you from West Philadelphia, born and raised?
Yes, I love it. On the playground is where I spend most of my days.
There we go. Nice. Love it. Love it. So Melissa, you got this great, amazing brand that as I mentioned at the onset, it's something that my wife and I love about our daughter being involved, and it's something that she got involved in. She got involved in it really through our church, and it was because of Megan Hendry, who's now married. And I apologize to Megan if she's watching. I cannot remember what her married name is now, but
But that's
Megan
okay.
did
She
some.
hasn't legally changed it yet, so we can still keep calling her
Oh,
Megan Hendry.
well, there we go. That works. But Megan came to do some things with you and my daughter and some of her friends, of course, followed along from the church, and they have all fallen in love with it. And it has been a blessing to see different things that have happened. There's all kinds of things that break out from it. Like my daughter is a spirit team leader for you, and she has some girls that gather either here at our home or one of the local coffee shops. And it's been just a blessing to see not only the friendships they've developed, but the conversations they have as well. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the Genuine brand? Because there's a lot to it.
There is a lot to it. Buckle up. Here we go. So, first and foremost, it is all by the grace of God. 100% by his strength alone does this brand happen. And I tell you what, like even this morning, I've just been really leaning on him so much heavily because the Genuine community is growing and it is flourishing. And I am just calling on him for all of the needs because it's his vision, his plan, and I am just doing the work, right? So we'll start from the beginning. Genuine started as a youth group for high school seniors, and it was my way of pouring in wisdom, life skills, social skill wisdom that I wish I would have had when I was their age. Now, I have a elementary education degree. I started out as a kindergarten teacher and I taught in public education for several years. When I left public education to start my family, I picked up a camera and I started doing portrait photography because that's just a love of mine. I'm a creative at heart and I'm passionate about capturing memories. That led me to working with high school seniors, which led me to wanting to go back into like education in a way by starting this little youth group. The youth group was actually not biblically based at first. So back in 2000 2019, it was really just about like the tactical things, the life skills and social skills that I could offer the girls. And once I started really working with young girls and really just really recognizing how much they were struggling, a lot of depression, a lot of sadness, unfortunately, suicidal thoughts, suicidal attempts. I mean, it was just weighing heavy on me. And at the time, my relationship with the Lord was really strengthening. And I just sat back one day and I thought, these girls need to hear about Jesus. They need to hear about Jesus. And I have a personal testimony, which I won't go into today, but because of my personal testimony and how Jesus just completely transformed my life, he saved me. I thought, okay, I need to revamp Genuine and it needs to be biblically based and I need to be talking about the Lord. And so I did that in 2019, completely revamped the curriculum, have been ever since. And he has been saving girls left and right. It's been amazing. So the girls program now, 2013 to now 2024, it has become a youth ministry that serves 5th grade through 12th grade. Then new for this year, we're right in the middle of our very first year with a boys middle school ministry team led by Scott Sario. That is an amazing program to equip our young boys to be the leaders that God created them to be. That's 6th through 8th grade. And then, out of my heart's desire to continue to pour into the youth, I thought, wow, Lord, I really feel like, you're calling me to pour into the moms, right? And so my idea to kind of bridge the two and strengthen the relationships within the homes between the moms and the daughters was to have a moms group. So we have a Genuine Moms Ministry that meets monthly. That's devotion based, just connecting over shared stories, sharing the struggles, sharing the celebrations, just really being there for each other through prayer and fellowship. And the Genuine Moms Group then launched the Genuine Magazine. That was birthed out of God calling me to reach more women in just a different way, in a way that took them off of technology, got them off of social media, and gave them something tangible in their hands to read God's word, testimony of, fellow community members. These are everyday women who are writing their testimonies for this magazine, and just an opportunity for them to get poured into that way.
Absolutely. So before we go any further, the magazine, if
Yes.
anyone's watching right now and they go, "Ooh, I want to check that out," how can they get a copy of the magazine?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
So right now the magazine is on our website you can go to melissalynhunt.com. That's the easiest way to find, and click on Genuine Mom at the top browser, and that'll take you to some ordering options. We also have links on our social media, which we can make sure everyone gets the social media handles, but mine is simple. It's just Melissa Lynn Hunt. So you can follow me and get connected in all those ways. It is a seasonal subscription. Our spring issue launches in March. And so I highly recommend going ahead and ordering a subscription for the year. So you'll get 4 issues for the year. But also, Steve, I would love to mention that our Genuine Moms devotions, they start February 15th. So if there is a mom who is watching this, or maybe there's a husband who's watching this thinking their wife might need this, truly genuine community of moms where we meet once a month, we pray together. I lead devotion. We have other moms who lead devotion. It's just a really great connector. Anyway, if you join our Genuine Moms group, the magazine is part of the program. Yeah.
Great, great. Now, where do you? So I know that you meet various locations with the girls and the boys, but where do the moms typically meet?
We also meet in Kannapolis, so we're in the
Okay.
West Avenue district. So the
Yep.
same place that the youth ministry meets for the girls,
Right.
it's the same place for moms. Now, sometimes we're really lucky to have some moms that will host us in their home and we'll have dinner parties. So that's really special.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and for folks that don't know, they meet really right down, literally across from the ballpark where the Kannapolis Cannonballers play, and very nice area. Even if you just drop your son or daughter off for the meeting, it's a nice area to go shop and hang out. If that way, if you want to do something for a couple of hours while they're getting in touch with the different friends and learning life skills and biblical tie-ins and different things like that, is certainly a great area. So it is one of my favorite areas for to be. You guys also meet away. You meet Cedar Lodge Resort, if I'm saying that correct, which is very nice. It's been very That's been a blessing just for me to see. I know it's been a blessing for you all, because the girls love it. I'm sure the boys love it. There's nice places to walk around, but when you meet there, talk about what you guys do there as well.
So the vision for meeting at Cedar Grove, which is also in
Yeah.
Kannapolis, the vision was to bring together the middle and high school girl teams, right? So that they were having fellowship across all ages. And really, Genuine is about raising new leaders, about discipling girls to be the leaders that God calls them to be, because we're all leaders to some degree, right? We can be leaders in our home, leaders in our school. Leadership doesn't necessarily mean like big fancy titles or anything like that. And so our vision is for the girls to communicate together. So the middle school girls have really great role models to look up to, but then also to allow our high school girls to be leaders to our middle school girls, right? So Cedar Grove gives us that space to do it. We have a worship barn that we get to worship in. We have a lodge that we can do fellowship in and study. When the weather starts to warm up and get a little nicer, we're going to have a huge property to do prayer walks, play games. The fire pit is one of my favorite spaces. This past fall, we got to decorate pumpkins around the fire. It's just such a blessing to have that space, and I would love to give them a shout out. So if you can look up the Cedar Grove or Glow Missions, that's a way to check out what they're doing, because they're doing amazing things on their own.
Yeah, absolutely. So while we're on the subject of that, I did want to mention, so you and I, there's a conversation that took place back in December where you were looking to try to get some a little extra help. I think it was like $16 for each parent to be able to provide to be able to be at Cedar Grove for at least the first 6 months of the year.
Yes.
And so you would also, I think, send out an email that my wife had mentioned where you'd gotten a little bit more funding to maybe get another month taken care of. So but you and I had a conversation that night, and I said that I would be more than happy for Rowan County Weather to pay for a month of it as well. So, and you told me to think about it. You said, I don't want you to do this just on a whim. If God's telling you to do that, then do that. So today I am going to mention to you that I am going to pay out of Rowan County Weather for at least another month to get you that much closer to the end of the year, because
Well,
that place means a lot to me just to see what's happened there.
can I tell you
Yeah.
that we were just 1 month short of having it for the rest of the year?
Well, there you go. That's God working for us right there.
I'm not crying on this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny. My daughter Samantha told me because I had mentioned to her this morning I was going to tell you that, and she was like, "You're going to make her cry." I said, "I don't want to make her cry. I just want to tell
Yeah,
her about it."
Samantha was accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. So you and I, that's we'll talk offline after to be able to take care of the financial pieces of it. But it's an opportunity for me. So you may or may not know this story, but so Rowan County Weather, you see that 10-year logo back there behind me. Um, Going into year 10, this business of mine was really struggling going into year
Mhm.
10 because it cost a lot of money to be able to actually run a weather media service. And a lot of it's driven just much like your television stations or your newspapers or whatever, driven through advertising
Ah,
partners. And I had literally, my advertising partners coming out of COVID really just started to dwindle down. And so at the end of 2021 or 2022, excuse me, I said, I don't know that I'm going to make it another year. I put out a video post about it and just explained. And I have been blessed since that point to have advertising partners come on, and it's rebounded this business and this venture that I have because I'm passionate about weather and we can go into all kinds of details about that, but we're not here to talk about Rowan County weather. We're here to talk about genuine today. But I've been blessed enough to be able to give back at this point, and this has been
Steve,
heavy for me to do that for you. But
Steve, I'm so grateful that you're sharing that testimony. I mean,
yeah,
everyone needs to hear this is why Genuine exists. Let's be real with each other,
yeah,
right? And I
yeah,
feel like when we humble ourselves to the Lord first and foremost, but when we humble ourselves to each other also, that vulnerability, that transparency, that
yeah,
shared, I mean, that's a shared experience. A struggle is relatable for everyone, right? And
absolutely.
when we humble ourselves and say, listen, like this is where I'm at. I need help if I'm going to keep doing this. And then the
Yep,
Lord says, I will bring you the people.
right. Yeah, absolutely. So it's it's been it weighed heavily on my heart from the time we talked in December. And this, you didn't approach me about this. I approached you after listening to, the presentation that you and I apologize, I cannot remember the other young lady's name that worked so
Caitlin.
hard. Caitlin. Caitlin works so hard beside of you, and I know she does a lot, and I know you appreciate her, but you both got up there and spoke, and I've could see from just watching the girls there. And then of course I mentioned spirit teams that you have, and my
Yes.
daughter is a spirit team leader. And so one of the things that really touched me the other night is because of this remodel, they typically meet at our home. But because
Okay.
of this, they met at the Holy Grind in China Grove. So shout out to those folks. They were very accommodating.
Yes, they
And even went as far as to give those girls a 20% discount on on purchasing stuff. So very accommodating, and just a big shout out to them. But um, one of the young ladies the other night mentioned she said, I was worried that we wouldn't be able to meet uh, January and February because of your remodel. And we said, no, we were going to do whatever we had to do to make sure you guys can meet. And when she said that, pretty much all of them in unison said, this is one of our favorite things to do every month. And so we were like, oh man, that makes it all worth it right there. So
That's the truth, and I'm so glad you shared that with me. I
yeah,
actually went to a spirit team. There's one that meets close to where I live, and it's really easy for me to get to, and I was there last night. And as I was just there at the beginning, and as I was leaving, I heard one girl say the same thing, that this is the thing that she looks forward to. And so for everyone listening, the spirit team is essentially Genuine's way of continuing to disciple leaders, right? So these are girls who maybe feel the tug on their heart that they want to lead, girls that are very secure and certain that they want to be leaders, and girls who are like, I'm not sure, maybe God's calling to me. We've created a safe space for girls to attempt leadership, right? To carry it on. So I equip the girls with devotions that they are leading each month. They are leading girls within the genuine community and also girls outside of the genuine community.
right,
So they're bringing in friends from church or just friends from school, which is so amazing. And they're meeting once a month for an hour and a half to 2 hours, pouring into this devotion. We're studying the fruits of the Spirit. So they're getting to go through love, patience, joy, kindness, and all of those things that are so valuable for us, especially for those girls in high school and middle school. To bear the fruits of the Spirit is no easy task.
that's right. That's right. Absolutely. So let's talk about the boys a little bit. I know
All
this is
right.
brand new. I know this is brand new. So you're, kind of developing this, obviously following some of the model you've done with the girls, but there's obviously some differences in the boys and the girls. So tell us about what the boys do with all their different meetings and things.
Oh, what do the boys do? All right. So it is definitely not my wheelhouse. This was
Mhm.
something that I prayed over for 3 years. I had parents saying, when are you going to start a boys team? When are you going to start a boys team? And I thought, okay, this is not something God is necessarily calling me to do. I can see the vision for it, especially being a mom of boys. And so I just prayed on the proper leader to come about, and sure enough, became friends with the Sario family, and they knew of the dreams and desires. And Scott approached me and said, "Hey, what do you think about genuine leader? I want to lead a boys team." And I was like, "Let's go." I mean, we've been praying over this. I knew he was qualified. And the idea is that, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast already, we want to equip these boys to be the leaders that God is calling them to be. The tasks and the skills that they need that they're not getting in traditional education, and maybe just even at home, right? And they're doing marksmanship, chivalry, financial prep, automotive. They have fitness challenges, so they're setting goals. Fitness is a part of every time they meet together. Forestry or foresting. Sorry, Scott, if I
Oh, you're
messed that
good.
up.
You're good.
But yeah, so like they are really truly just a bunch of boys getting together doing boy things, but things that are empowering them and equipping them, right? I had an opportunity to be a part of one of the meetings, and I just stood there with just my mouth wide open because it was just phenomenal. Scott's leading a devotion, so he has a devotion prepared for each meeting where he's pouring into scripture, connecting them to God's word, and then they go out and do some sort of skill set for the day.
Awesome, awesome. So for folks who are watching, I know you've got your website, and that's probably the best place for them to go to if they want to get their child involved in any of these things, or even if it's just a mom who wants to get, involved and then maybe bring her children into it. Because some folks like to go in reverse fashion, and I understand that. They want to see what they're getting their kids involved in before they put them in it. So, but I assume they just go to your website.
Yes, absolutely. Go to melissalynnhunt.com and the top menu bar can kind of take you wherever you want to go. We have a lot in the works right now. And at the end of February, we're going to have a Bring a Friend Day and a big parent meeting for all the families who are current with Genuine and who are interested in Genuine for their child. And this will be for the girls side of the program, so fifth grade through 12th grade. So I would go ahead and find the website and then also find me on Instagram, Melissa Lynn Hunt, and then get connected because that's where we do a lot of our announcing. We don't send a lot of email chains, things like that out. It's all social media and website. And then if you are a mom who wants to go ahead and kind of get involved in our moms community, come on. We are here with open arms. And like I said, the first devotion night is February 15th. You can go to the website, purchase your pass for the whole spring season, plus go ahead and secure that magazine. You can do that today.
Absolutely. And for folks who don't know this, because a lot of folks don't know this, but obviously from meeting us in person, but my wife has a form of muscular dystrophy. And so I wanted to talk about how accommodating you are really for that. And we certainly appreciate it. But if anyone's watching this and they go, man, I really want to do that, but I'm limited on how I can get into places and things like that. Melissa is very accommodating and has been from day one on
Thank
being able
you.
to do something to get, to make sure. So if that's something that you're sitting here watching right now and you go, man, I really want to do that, but I just don't know if I can get in where they're at. You can reach out to Melissa and talk to
Please.
her about it, and she will work with you to make it happen. So,
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I
yeah,
appreciate
no,
that.
absolutely. We certainly appreciate you doing that because it's been, very refreshing. I know one of the things that, you even have personally met with my wife just one on one. If it was a way you could not get her into wherever you happen to be having this. So, and we appreciated the time for that because I know you're certainly busy. You mentioned you do photography. So why don't you tell us about that? Let's talk about that side of what you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am a portrait photographer still today. Families, senior portraits, middle school portraits. And I started out back in 2010 photographing anything and everything to build my portfolio and my skill set. And then became a wedding photographer along with portrait photography. I ended my wedding photography career in 2016 because I started a family and it was starting to, we were getting into sports season and I really didn't enjoy being committed to Saturdays and having to miss out on sports, youth sports for my son. So I ended the wedding. I continued the portrait photography, and I believe that the ministry program is really the bulk of what I do now, and really just my heart is just so invested in what's happening with our youth ministry and our mom's ministry. But the portrait photography is my way of still getting to have that creative side. I do 99% of the photography for the magazine. So when you're flipping through that, that's all my work. And if I'm lucky enough to get someone to help, I do take that on. But I really, really enjoy the idea of capturing portraits and showing women just how beautiful they are.
Absolutely. And I've seen some of your photos. They're definitely amazing, amazing photos. My sister-in-law, it's funny you mentioned the wedding photography part. My sister-in-law, my wife's sister, she is a photographer as well, and
Oh,
over in Knoxville. And it's kind of funny because she started out primarily doing wedding photography, but now they have two kids. One of them's really starting to get into swimming, and she has been slowly over time adapting that business to still do weddings on occasion, but
yeah.
she's doing more like underwater photography now. She went and got a scuba diving, license and all kinds of stuff. And she's actually right now in the British Virgin Islands, actually training to do underwater
Oh,
photography.
that's
So,
cool.
so it's interesting to hear, similarities in what you did, with yours and what she's doing with hers, because it was the exact same reason. Was look, I love doing weddings, but I also love being with my family even more, and I
Yeah,
have to figure out where I'm going here. So,
that's right.
yeah, very interesting to hear that similarity. Melissa, before we wrap up, so I need to do a couple of things here. One, I got to
Yeah.
pay one quick bill here, and that's for the folks at William Ryan Enterprises who pay to sponsor this podcast. And if anyone's heard any noise in the background or anything like that, those folks are actually the ones doing our master bathroom remodel in our home right now. So if you've heard any saws or beating and banging, that's the folks at William Ryan Enterprises. They're located at 1600 North Main Street in China Grove. They do home remodels, renovations. They'll even build custom homes. So all kinds of things they can do for you. So certainly check out their business, and we've got them on our website where you can click on the ad, and it'll take you directly to their website for all the details. So back to you, Melissa. So just a couple of quick questions before we wrap up. I think so. Normally, I ask each guest that I have on what's been their most proud moment and what's been their most adverse moment. I think we've probably already covered your proud moments because this whole thing has been something that you can be proud of, obviously. But has there been one moment that really has stuck out for you as a proud moment?
Honestly, and this is within just the past 5 months, I have witnessed three very specific, genuine girls experience Christ's freedom. Um, so much so that it has just completely transformed their life, their friendships, their just outlook on their future. Um, it's, I, I say it so simply, but the magnitude of what happened within these three girls is just off the Richter scales. And for me, that has just been like, I mean, sobbing moments of just joy that I would get to see the harvest, so to speak, right? There's so much sowing going on with Genuine. And I just, I pray to the Lord, I'm like, if I just get a little glimpse, just a little glimpse of the harvest, I would be so grateful. But I know that that's not always going to be the case. And so, if we want to attach pride to anything, like proud of
Yeah.
that is where I'm at for sure. And then adversity.
Yes. And there's, that happens a lot from the start when you initially start an idea or program or business or whatever it may be, but it continues to carry on. So I know there's probably several things that could come to mind for you. Yeah.
Ongoing adversity. I mean, really and truly. And really, I just want to speak to working through the adversity because I mean,
No,
it's a very real experience for me right now. I am in the
sure.
middle of some extreme adversity
Yeah.
and, just identifying what's the enemy and what's God stretching and growing, like what, just that discernment. And I had a phone call with a friend this morning and she's like, just go sit with Jesus, Melissa, just go sit. And I was like, I need to just go sit and be still and just let him lead. Right. So, I mean, I could give you 1,000 examples of the, exact adversity that I'm facing, but really and truly, I feel like just with what's happened this morning and where we're at here today, it's really the advice that I am taking myself that I would like to just pour into someone else watching. Just go sit with Jesus. I wrote on my bathroom mirror the word remain, or you could say abide, right? And just this constant reminder that I should not go before him. I should always go after him. Let me follow his lead, right? And so adversity, it's never going to end. I feel pretty certain about that, right? He
Right.
he doesn't promise it to be easy.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going through a sermon series at our church right now based on the word if, and that's a very powerful word, and I see, just looking at you, just your reaction to this, then there's always the what if, right? And I sit here and look back and think to myself, especially while we've been talking, what if Melissa Lynn Hunt never started Genuine? And I think to myself of how glad I am that, because you probably had some moments when that idea came about of, do I really want to do this? Can I do this? And what's going to happen? Same with me, with what I've done. Uh, but I'm so glad that, when you got to that point, because I'm sure you did, you went, well, what if I don't? And you've been able to take this thing and, you took it off from, what did you say your starting group was in 2013?
Three girls.
three girls, and now you have how many kids involved? I know it's boys and girls now.
Boys and girls combined, we have about 75.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am so glad that, just sitting here talking to you today that, when you got to that if moment, you went, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to go the other way. So it's certainly been a blessing. And I swear I'm not trying to make you cry. I'm not trying to be Diane Sawyer or anything.
Too late. Too late. God's
Yeah.
speaking for you today, Steve. Thank you. It really, I mean, and it is anybody in any industry of life. I mean, whether you're a mom or you are a CEO, I mean, you feel this adversity. You
Yes.
feel this, do I go on? How do I go on? I mean,
Right.
everyone gets to that moment. That is
Yeah.
real. That is
Absolutely.
real. And
Yeah.
so I'm grateful for a Lord who speaks into that and says, yes,
Hmm.
go, you
Yep.
know. Um, there's a verse in Jeremiah, if you how do you expect to run with the horses if you can't run with man?
Right.
And it's like, I constantly am letting that hum in my mind, like, okay, Lord, you're preparing me, you're strengthening me, and oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So let's talk about just Melissa the person right now. So we've got, I always like to ask something based on the season we're in with any of
Mm.
my guests. We didn't get to really talk about, talk during Christmas about this, so I won't use Christmas, but we're in the winter time now. What is one of your favorite seasonal things to do in the winter, just for yourself?
Steve, winter is my least favorite season of all.
Really?
Yes.
I can understand why being Philadelphia. I get that.
I am I am not a fan of winter. I'm not a
Yeah.
fan of cold by any means. I
Yeah.
am just counting down the days to beach weather. But um, to help me get through the winter
Mhm.
season, one of my favorite things to do, this is so basic. I snuggle up on the couch with a big blanket.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. My wife will snuggle in her chair with a blanket. It can be 100 degrees outside, and I'm like, "Are you really that cold?" So I understand that.
I enjoy that. I don't know. I just have never been a fan of the winter time. I mean, I have a summer birthday. I think God designed for me to be in the warm tropics.
Yeah,
And so I'm living to get to there.
there you go. Well, yesterday was exactly 2 years since the last time we had measurable snowfall in this area, so you may be getting closer to the tropics than you realize.
I'm fine with that.
Absolutely. Well, Melissa, Lynn Hunt, thank you so much for joining us today. For folks who typically watch this, I know we've probably got some folks who are watching today that have never watched before, but for folks who typically watch this, they know that there's a blog that's associated with these podcast episodes. So there'll be one for this episode as well today on our website, and I will make sure to include Melissa's contact info in case you watch this and you went, man, I really want to get my son or daughter involved, or I even want to get myself involved, just so you can reach out to her. But we'll certainly have that up on our website as well. But Melissa, thank you so much for your time today, and I certainly appreciate it.
What a blessing. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you.